Breaking news this morning, former Saint Will Smith killed overnight in the Lower Garden District. Team coverage this morning on what led to the tragic incident. Also, an apartment becomes engulfed in flames overnight. What we know so far in the investigation. WDSU News this morning starts right now.
This is breaking news on WDSU.
Heartbreaking news for the Black and Gold Nation this morning. Former Saint Will Smith was shot and killed last night in the Lower Garden District. It started out as a casual evening for dinner with family and friends, but things took a turn for the worse when the former defensive end was on his way downtown with his wife. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Farrah Reyna. Will Smith's wife, Raquel Smith, was with him at the time. She was injured in the shooting, but she is expected to survive. We have team coverage this morning from WDSU's Fletcher and Travers Mackle here to tell us how things escalated and ended up to this point.
A very sad morning. Former Saints star Will Smith has been murdered, killed here in the Lower Garden District on Camp Street last night. Travers Mackle, you have the facts. According to NOPD sources and an NOPD spokesperson, it looks like it was a road rage incident. Cops tell us that Smith was with a group of friends, we were told, at Saki Cafe on Magazine Street with Pierre Thomas and at least one former NOPD officer. They were leaving that restaurant and heading down Camp Street by Felicity, going downtown, we're told, possibly to the Windsor Court, when there was a road rage type incident. According to cops, Smith was in his Mercedes SUV. He was bumped from behind by a Hummer. Both drivers got out, and according to cops, they exchanged words, and that's when they say shots rang out, as many as 5 shots, according to witnesses. And Will Smith was shot and killed. Will Smith's wife is at University Hospital. She was shot twice in the leg. The Smiths have 3 young children. Will Smith was drafted by the New Orleans Saints, first-round draft pick in 2004. He was a team captain from 2005 through 2013. He was going into the Saints Hall of Fame this fall, one of the most decorated players in franchise history, a huge force on the Super Bowl team. And again, very sad that 3 young children will be without a father now. What do you know about the suspect, and where does the case go from here? According to cops, the man who opened fire, his name not yet released, but it could be released sometime this morning, is in custody. Cops tell us he remained at the scene. Not a usual move, but obviously this investigation is still unfolding. A lot of police officers here throughout the early morning hours, but cops tell us the person who opened fire is in custody and obviously could face a litany of charges. We should also point out this is still very much an active investigation by the coroner and by the NOPD. All right, and we will have more on the murder of Will Smith coming up later in this show and, of course, in later newscast today. For Travers Mackle, I'm Fletcher Mackle. Let's send it back to you in the studio.
And we have this picture of Will Smith just an hour before he was shot and killed. Former NOPD Commander Billy Cervelo gave us this picture of him and Smith with Pierre Thomas having dinner last night on Magazine Street. Well, of course, when the news broke this morning, people took to social media to immediately offer their condolences. Head coach Sean Payton tweeted, "Heavy hearts with senseless passing of our team captain Will Smith. Pray for his wife's recovery and their children." And you guys at home also can send messages to the family. You have Reva Rose, who sent a message to us saying, "This is so tragic, such a loss for words. My condolences to his family and prayers for his wife and children." Christy Phillips says, "You've got to be kidding me. Our world is a scary place. I pray everything for peace. Pray for number 91's wife, children, family, and friends." Our coverage of former Saint Will Smith continues right now on WDSU.com. There you can see pictures and video from the scene from last night. Also express your condolences for the Smiths family and to the Saints team. Also new this morning, several families are displaced after a huge fire in Metairie. Shortly after midnight, a fire broke out at an apartment complex in the 500 block of Lake Avenue. At one point, firefighters say they were battling a third alarm fire. No word on any injuries or what may have caused that fire. And now for a look outside. Looky there, people are lining up for French Quarter Fest. I'm sure the same thing's happening for Strawberry Festival. So much going on today outdoors. Let's check in with meteorologist Jesse Venturella to tell us what we can expect. Jesse?
And we love when the weather is nice for all the festivals taking place, and that's what we got for this weekend. Yesterday was beautiful. Today is going to be the same thing, just a little bit warmer this afternoon, but no rainfall. Take a look at the satellite and radar picture right now. Things are quiet on air. As you can see, mostly clear on the satellite picture, and we're up to 70 degrees. over at the airport in Kenner right now. Notice that wind starting to increase now, though. Southeast wind at about 10 miles per hour, and you can look across southeast Louisiana and see a couple of locations in the 70s, Galliano as well. Elsewhere, we're in the upper 60s south of the lake, mid to upper 60s on the North Shore, and same thing on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Winds today will be a little bit breezy, 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're starting to see them pick up a little bit, 10 in Grand Isle, 10 at the airport, same thing at the lakefront right now. And with this wind from the Gulf of Mexico, that helps to warm things up. It's also going to help to increase humidity. So today about 78 or 79 degrees. Tomorrow we'll easily get into the low 80s. So here's a look now at the hour-by-hour forecast. 72 at 10 a.m., 75 at 1 o'clock. High temperature around 78 this afternoon, and then for the evening hours, still mainly dry at 73 degrees by 7 o'clock this evening and down to 69 by 10 p.m. So looking good for today, but rainfall chances are going to start to return as we begin this new week, and we'll check out the forecast model in a few minutes in the full forecast. Farrah?
Thanks, Jesse. Now to Commitment 2016, another big story we have been following. It was a no for the public safety millage in Orleans Parish. 54% of voters voted against the proposition. WDSU reporter Kelsey Davis has more reaction from the leaders.
Mitch Landrew says this millage not passing means the city will have to make some tough funding choices, including some cuts. If you'll remember, the public safety millage included a proposed $5 million property tax increase to ensure the city had the resources to continue to grow the police department, and a $2.5 million property tax hike to allow the city to honor its commitment to pay firefighters back wages and pension. Landrew says the city of New Orleans is in the best situation it's been in years, and he says this will take us off track, especially as it relates to rectifying the issue with the fire department.
And in order to fix this problem, this is the last piece. We actually have to pay for it, because everything that happens in this city happens really with the power of the people and the constituents, but you have to pay for stuff. You can't have something for nothing, and if we don't fix it now, it's just going to cost us more money down the road.
Now later today, we hope to hear from city officials on plans now that this millage has not passed. Back to you.
The mayor's office did issue a response after the results came in. It says, while we are disappointed with the election results, we remain fully committed to public safety as our top priority. Unfortunately, this means that we will not be able to grow the NOPD to whatever it needs over the next few years, barring some unforeseen stream of revenue. And in order to honor our commitment to our firefighters and to pay them the money that they are owed, other parts of the budget will have to be cut. We have Of course, we've been appreciative to the public support for the streets renewal so that we can continue our positive momentum forward in repairing our aging infrastructure. And we do have more election results available for you at WDSU.com. We have them scrolling on the screen, also on the bottom of your television. Another special session could be coming soon. Governor John Bel Edwards is expected to unveil his budget cut proposal. Edwards is hoping that the session will raise additional revenue to plug a hole in $750 million gap in next year's budget. The package of proposals are expected to match Louisiana's spending for the next fiscal year to its available revenue. The next fiscal year begins July 1st. New Orleans police are looking for two men accused of shooting a man in the Maroney. Police say that those suspects are seen here in the surveillance video. The shooting happened on Monday, of course, near Burgundy and Curlick Streets. Now, police say that the 20-year-old victim was approached by a man who asked to use his cell phone. When the victim said no, one of the suspects pushed him, while the victim then pepper sprayed him. Well, that's when the other suspect pulled out a gun, shot the victim twice. He was taken to the hospital, and anyone with information about these two suspects is asked to call police. A federal official has identified the gunman in a fatal shooting that happened at a Texas Air Force base on Friday. Officials say Tech Sergeant Stephen Bellino shot Lieutenant Colonel William Schroeder at Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland. Bellino then turned the gun on himself. The official says that Bellino was an FBI agent for less than 2 years before resigning in 2013 and enlisting in the Air Force. Authorities have not confirmed a motive. This morning, we're still following breaking news of former Saint Will Smith, who was killed in an apparent road rage incident last night in the Lower Garden District. We will have more on the story throughout the morning.
This is breaking news on WDSU.
This morning, we are following the sad news of ex-Saint Will Smith's death. Now, we do have a chilling photo of Smith with another former Saint, Pierre Thomas, before he was tragically shot, a gunshot wound that claimed his life. Also, NOPD has booked a man that you see on your screen in connection with Will Smith's death. He is 28-year-old Cardell Hayes. He has been booked on one count of second-degree murder. His bond has not been set. Now, WDSU's Fletcher and Travers Mackle has team coverage and tells us what happened, how the exchange between Smith and Hayes led to gunfire.
I'm Travers Mackle here in the Lower Garden District on Camp and Felicity with my brother, sports anchor Fletcher Mackle, where former Saint star Will Smith was shot and killed last night. Police tell us it looks like a road rage incident. According to cops, Will Smith was with a group of people at Saki Cafe last night. They were leaving, and just after 11:30, they were heading down Camp towards Felicity, where cops tell us it looked like it was a road rage type incident. They say that Smith's Mercedes SUV was struck from behind by a Hummer SUV. Police tell us both men got out of the cars, exchanged words, and then shots rang out, as many as 5. And Will Smith was shot and killed. His wife shot twice in the leg, taken to UMC. She is in a non-life-threatening condition, and we are told that her condition will improve, obviously, throughout the morning. And there is a 30-year-old in custody, according to the NOPD. Will Smith, a first-round draft pick by the New Orleans Saints in 2004, one of the most decorated players in franchise history, a team captain from 2005 through 2013, a huge force on the Saints Super Bowl team. His wife is from Lafayette, so they were making their home here in Southeast Louisiana. They had a beautiful home in Kenner. They have 3 young children that go to school in this area. Just a horrific scene here in the Lower Garden District, knowing that a guy that has done so much for this community, for this franchise, is now dead in what seems like a road rage incident. A lot of people here find it hard to believe. In the Lower Garden District, I'm Travers Mackle with Fletcher Mackle. Let's send it back to you in the studio.
Again, here's a look at the suspect arrested in Will Smith's death. NOPD has booked 28-year-old Cardell Hayes. He has been booked and charged with one count of second-degree murder for shooting Will Smith. No bond has been set. Also new this morning, Tom and Gail Benson released a statement on behalf of the entire Saints organization. It says, "Our thoughts and prayers are with Will and his wife Raquel, but more importantly with their children, William, Winter, and Lisa, who are suffering and just starting to realize and deal with an unimaginable loss. We are devastated and saddened by Will's tragic and preventable death due to a senseless act that will leave a lasting scar on our community forever." Will has been more than an exceptional football player. He was a father, a husband, a son, a brother, and teammate to so many, and an inspiration to countless more. He will be greatly missed by all of those he touched and impacted both on and off the football field, and his legacy will continue to shine. The Saints family is hurting and devastated as it has lost a member too young, too soon. Our coverage of former Saint Will Smith will continue at WDSU.com. There you can see some photos, videos from the scene last night, and also express your condolences for the Smith family and to the Saints team.